Good morning. Good morning. So listen, it's been a really hectic week. Not so much in the whole digitizing orders thing, but just life in general. I let me introduce myself. Good morning. I am Ramona McKee with Quick to Stitch, and this is Coffee and Conversation. Good morning. Oh, look, Cindy's here. Sandy, good morning, good morning. And Barb's right there too. Barb, good morning, good morning. Oh, we call her Baby Kitty, but she does have a name. It's Tori. So, anyways, yeah, from last week's episode, I was setting up a new to me used embroidery machine. Well, putting that extra equipment in the shop uh, required some shuffling of my space. So I have been doing just that all week. I have, you pull down an area, make room, and then you put something in there. And that's what I've been doing all week. Diane, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Diane. So, I've got one more big project that I want to get done. As much as I like the color behind me, I'm not liking the way the color is on the wall. It's not staying. I have to fight it. So, I'm thinking somebody had suggested some time ago to put fabric on the wall. So I got some fabric. Hang on, just one bit. Don't look at my nasty walls back here. They're terrible. This is a bits and pieces and bits show today, so I'm not as prepared. But this is the color I'm looking at. What do you think? All right, so this is more than looking. This is the color I purchased. What do you think? Ah, ta-da! Yeah, I think it'll work. Yeah, I think it looks good. Now I just got to figure out how to put it up on the wall and make it stay. That's on the list for this week. Okay, so again, today, just kind of bits and pieces. It is pretty. Thank you, Cindy. So I'm going to be digitizing, and you guys, pop off questions or we'll have a conversation. Diane, I agree. I think it does look great. Okay, my hair's kind of, got this whole silvery gray kind of look, so it's kind of light. And I think the darker color works better as a contrast. And, I kind of like green. I do. Um, so, anyways, I'm going to be digitizing, and you ask questions, have a conversation. What's new in your lives? Um, let's see. What else can we pop off in there? We have our coffee. Mm, sorry. Let me show you what I'm working on. Let's bring this up into here. Let's hide all these stitches. Do, do, do. And hide. So this is a graphic that a new client sent me, and it's going to be 11 inches left to right. Oops, we didn't need that, did we? There, let's unhide this one. This box is 11 by 9 inches, which is ultimately what the size is. So, and I got to build it in layers. And the layers I'm building, I'm going to do the 3 and the 3 first, then the cityscape, then the 1 Detroit. What do you think? What have you got going, Cindy? Here we go. Cindy, I am sewing with some glitter bug vinyl, getting down to the wire to get my project ready for the fair. You're going to show us, right? When it's done, you're going to show us what your project looks like. You know, we're going to love to see it. So I did the 3s. That's an unhide and an unhide. Wonderful. Cindy says she's going to show us her project when it's finished. And you know, Cindy, if you send it to me in a message or an email or something like that, I can pull it in here to our next event, our next show. So as you can see, the 3s are done. Now I'm working on the cityscape. I did a fill for the cityscape. And of course yeah, I think so too. You always, Cindy, for those of you that don't know, Cindy King, Cindy King is she makes the most amazing projects. Um I love seeing her work. She's There is a Stitch Fest event that she participates in every year, and I know for a fact the last 2 years she has won. She has won prizes. So, anyways, let's go back to this. I did an outline of the cityscape. Hide this again so you can see, just the outline, because that's going to be filled with white ultimately. But I like to digitize in colors. So yeah, we're doing pink. But now I need to be able to see everything that's behind it, but I don't want to lose my outline. I don't want to lose what the cityscape looks like. So I just transfer that. I just change that into, thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. I just make it a running stitch so that I can see what I need to see for on top. Sean, is it Sean? Um, some people pronounce that Sheen, Sean. You're new, or at least I haven't seen you. Want to say hello and tell us where are you? I see some beach in the back of your profile picture. That sounds fun. Okay, so what am I going to do for all of these lines? Well, the thicker ones, we can do a 1 millimeter. Let me get it there. Wrong line. There we are. Why am I not getting this? There. We can do a 1 millimeter column. Here, just a. But for the other running lines, everything that looks like it's in gray, should we do it in a different color? The primary background is, the primary lines in this is black, but the window lines are gray. Should we do the window lines in a different color? What do you think? Let me know. In the meantime, I am going to start with, get rid of that one because we'll do that one later. All right, so we're going to do these dark lines. I'm going to enlarge it. We're going to keep in mind, Cindy, yes, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Cindy is saying yes to the digitizing two different lines and then, using color, determining the color later. Um, so with that in mind, we have another layer. We're going to do the gray lines first. And here's something that I want you to look at. See how these gray lines are a vertical dash? Well, we do not want to cause a start and stop with each one of those dashes. Those dashes, remember our overall design is already at size. So those dashes, if we measure them, are only 2 millimeter. So what does that mean to the digitizing? That means that we have 3 stitches here to tie in, 1 stitch, and then 3 stitches to tie out. Do you know that is going to be like crazy? That is going to be crazy, not fun to actually stitch. So what are we going to do? We are going to do a little experiment. We're going to do that before we start our actual uh, digitizing of the gray. Let me bring this up to a 300. Okay. We might need to make a motif to make this work. So if I take and just create a single line, I said, and I change it to a stem stitch, nope, a back stitch, and we want the length to be 2 millimeters. I'm not sure that's going to work. Yep, we're gonna go with the motif. I could do. Cindy is suggesting a bean stitch, but a bean stitch. Oops, come back here. A bean stitch is not going to. Oh, come along now. Thank you. A bean stitch is not going to give me a visual break between the two lines. So here's what I want to do. I am going to put a bean stitch with a space. So here, we're going to go like this. The width is too large for the stitching. Oh, that's because I have the wrong piece selected. Okay. For a bean stitch to work, it needs to be an odd number. And that's because it needs to stop on the opposite side of the start. So there is 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitch. That is a bean stitch. Now, what we need is for this bean stitch to end here, and without creating a cut or a tie-in, we need it to jump to this next piece, which is the same distance, 2 millimeters away. So, like I said, we're going to create a motif. What should we call it? Something, just a short little name. 3 jump or jump 3, 3 and jump. Okay, I like to do my motifs in a larger visual so that I can see them. We select it. We go up here to our object, create a motif. We do not want it to be in motif set 1. We'll put it in mine. We're going to call it, what do we want to call it? We want to call it skip 3. Why don't we call it skip 3? I can change the name. Ooh, window jump. I like that. And create. Oh, come on. What did I do? Create. I always do this. You hit create when you want to create a new category or a new file set. You click OK when you've selected your motif set and you've selected your name. So you click OK, and then it tells you, hey, Doug, I want you to position your start point and position your end point, which is what we've done. Oh, error. All right, let's start it over. Let me make it just a little bit larger so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, object, create motif, miscellaneous, window, jump. Okay, start, end. Oh, why does it not like this? One, two, 1, 2, 3. So we want it to be a bit longer. Okay, one more time, right? Object, motif, create, not create. Okay, enter the start point of the reference line. Enter the end point of the reference line. All right. It is not liking my motif. So we'll do it the hard way. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't give you any choice, does it? Maybe 2 windows at a time. That might actually work, Cindy. Hang on a second. Let's go back up to our 1,000. Okay. Ready? We're going to try this again. Object, create, window, jump. Notice I leave out the vowels. I know it says window jump. I don't need the U or the I or the O. Start, stop. Nope, it does not like that at all. But that's okay. Just so you can see this, I'm going to change the color. And then I'm going to I'm going to take out the connectors so that each one of these is now an individual stitch. I'm going to put it in line, and I'm going to spread them apart so they're even. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And what's going to happen when we're done is it's going to stitch the three, 1, 2, 3. It's going to jump to the next one. 1, 2, 3, jump. 1, 2, 3, jump. All right. I'm going to take the connectors off. We're going to group this. And we're going to copy and paste it to the next set. Why is that? Those windows are off. All right, that's fine. Now we don't want to end here and then have to jump way up here. So we're going to take this set and we're going to flip it upside down so that its start point is at the bottom. Yes, Cindy. Cindy's asking if when it jumps, will it leave a stitch in between? Yes, it will. Um, Again, we don't want to create two knots. We don't want to create 6 unnecessary stitches. So that 1 2 millimeter stitch is going to be visible. What you as the production needs to decide is whether it's important to snip those stitches or not. Personally, I would not. This design's going to be big enough. Yes, you're going to see those stitches at a distance, but that I really think that it won't be necessary to trim them. Okay, so we're going to take this again. Actually, let's get rid of that one. We're going to do the first one because remember, now we need to go down. Oh, guess what I see? If I go down, it's going to end here, and then I have to jump back up here. So let's just flip both of these over again so that my stitching starts down here and ends here. Then we can come over here and go down and then come back up. Exactly. Um, what Cindy is saying here is that she would not snip either. It would just be a single line of thread, a single stitch, and it won't really be noticeable. One of the things you have to consider as the machine operator, I get requests all the time to uh, put in those starts to put in those tie-ins and tie-outs with every letter. I know you guys um, have all experienced this. What happens is, remember, to make that tie-in, you need to create a knot, and that knot consists of 3 stitches. Then it stitches everything it needs to stitch. And then at the very end, it needs to make another knot so that it can trim off and jump to the next space. And that is also 3 stitches. Those knots can become very visible, not to mention on the back side of your project, all of those 1-inch tails, 2 tails for every knot, upper and lower thread, 2 tails for every knot are hanging in there. 2 things can happen with that. Not only does it just look sloppy, you might want to run and trim those all out. Be careful not to cut the knot. Um, but those tails, they can get caught up underneath in your bobbin area and create a bird's nest, which just is ultimately another issue. Do you really want to do that? So I I recommend not snipping. But I'm the digitizer. If let's get that back. If the client if the client wants if the client wants a trim between each letter or does not want to see those single stitches, um, then I'll put in the knots. Doug's saying that he hates to see those jump stitches between each letter, which means he's absolutely going to hate to see the jump stitches between these windows. Just saying. Okay. So, where are we? Oh my God, are we almost done? Are we almost done? Um, yeah, it looks like it. Should I tackle something else? How am I going to do? Yeah, it's just lines. When here, let's just do another one real quick. These black lines here, Diane wants to know about snipping. She's asking if you snip and it's a washable item, t-shirt, sweatshirt, jacket, won't the stitches eventually come loose? Not if you use a tie-in. Again, let's see if we can find you a picture of what a tie-in looks like. Let me go over to another window real quick. Diane, a tie-in, there's a couple of different ways the machine makes a tie-in. And I'm not seeing. Okay. So a tie-in can be just a simple stitch. 1, 2, 3. Only, of course, it's much closer. 1, 2, 3. All right. So what that does is it just kind of uh, knots itself up in that tiny space. Or it can be like a little star. And again, a tie-in is always 3 stitches. Um, what other tie-in is there? Of course, like I said, they're much, much closer. So, if you're careful, now on the back side, it's going to look like a knot. If you're going to snip those tails, don't snip directly next to the fabric because then you've clipped your knot. And yes, it will get loose and it will come apart. Just like any other stitch, it will come apart. Um, Not always. Cindy wants to know, if you do a tie, if you do the ties, does it always cause a trim? We go back over here and we go to connectors. It's telling me when there's some selections I can make here. Okay. I can do a tie-in after a trim. I can always do a tie-in, and that will always do a tie-in at the start of an object, but I don't have to do a trim. I've never worked with that before, but I had a machine. It was a flatbed machine. I believe it was my Viking that actually would trim the top stitch only, but not trim the bottom stitch, the bobbin stitch, which would allow the bobbin to continue over to the next object and start new. But it still did a tie-in. The object of that, the idea behind that programming was so that the back of the design did not have all the tails. Not quite sure. Oh, look. Diane, still there? These are the tie-ins. You can choose the tie-in you want. And of course, they're very small. You can choose how many you want. You can choose the stitch length to make the knot. So yes, these are the three different knots. Um, if you're doing this, I would suggest, if you're digitizing and you want to figure out what kind of knot you want to use, do a sampler. Do a sampler and see how those knots look under in your project. Some knots are more visible than others. Some knots need to be positioned differently. For example, this one here, it's going to have a knot right here at the very end. Now, if I were making, here, let's just do that real quick. We're just going to make a letter T. Doo, doo, doo. We're going to branch them together. Then we're going to look to see where the system put the knots. Okay, it started and ended at both the ends. But what if we want to disguise the knots a little bit? Is that better for you? And maybe we'll change the color. Can you guys see that? No. No. All right. So it put both the start and the stop here. So what does that mean? It means that it's going to have two knots right here. And you're going to be able to see them. Oh, Letty, it never opened on YouTube? Oh. Thank you for letting me know. I'll have to figure out what's going on over there. I'm sorry, we're just about done for the day. Um, we've just been talking about bits and bits. Our last topic is knots. So going back to this, thank you for letting me know, Letty. I don't want a big old knot here. I don't want two knots here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to move my start position and my end position inside the body. Okay, Cindy. You guys. Here you go, Letty. Letty says, didn't want you to think I was avoiding you. That's just nuts. That's funny. Oh, Letty, you're so funny. Okay, so I put my starts and stops inside, um, maybe where there's a turn. It's kind of hard to do on this one because, we're not quite there yet. And the starts and stops, the knots on the ends here are not going to be a problem because they're just knots. um, they're going to be covered by a satin stitch later. Okay. Well, on that note, um, gonna have to say goodbye until next week. If you have any questions, if you have a technique you're looking to do, if you have a project you want to do but you're not quite sure how to do it, let me know. Gail, were you here? Good morning, Gail. Let me know, and we'll do a topic. We'll do a topic on it. I may not be knowledgeable in what you're looking for, but you know what I can do? I can research it. I like to research. I can research it and you know, see what I can see and come up with what I can come up and share that information with you. So again, you all, thank you for being here today. We'll see you next week. Let me know. Send a message. Make a comment. Um, Email, YouTube, whatever works for you. Facebook, I'm there. All right. Going, going, and gone. Fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.